10 evident signs that there is an evil person next to you. Welcome, dear friends. Today we embark on a journey of truth and awareness. In this world, we often encounter people who can wear a mask of kindness, but behind it lies manipulation and harm. It's essential to understand the signs of such individuals to protect our peace and purpose. As we explore these 10 evident signs, remember that wisdom is the light that guides us through the darkness. Stay present, and let these insights strengthen your spirit and sharpen your intuition, for knowledge is not just power, it's a path to freedom and inner peace. Stay with me till the end. Number 1. Manipulation of emotions. One of the clearest signs of an evil individual is their ability to manipulate the emotions of others to get what they want. These individuals understand the power of emotions and use this knowledge as a tool for control. They don't just appeal to logic or reason. They tap into the deepest vulnerabilities and insecurities of others, exploiting them to their advantage. They may use guilt-tripping, making you feel responsible for their unhappiness, or they may provoke feelings of fear, suggesting that something terrible will happen if you don't comply with their wishes. In other instances, they might stir up pity, portraying themselves as helpless or misunderstood in order to extract sympathy or favors from others. The manipulator excels in creating an emotional bond that feels real, but it's only meant to make the victim more dependent and malleable. Let me tell you a story of a woman named Clara, who was constantly manipulated by her partner, Leo. Leo would often say things like, "If you truly loved me, you'd do this for me," or, "I can't believe you're making me go through this alone." He used her love for him as a tool to control her actions. Over time, Clara became so consumed with guilt that she lost sight of her own needs and desires. It wasn't until she confided in a close friend, who pointed out Leo's emotional manipulation, that she began to see the truth. Emotional manipulation is often subtle at first, but it grows over time, eroding the victim's sense of self-worth and independence. Recognizing this behavior early on is crucial, for it is only through awareness that we can protect ourselves from being controlled by someone else's emotional games. Number 2. Consistent dishonesty. One of the clearest signs of an evil individual is their pattern of dishonesty. This person doesn't just lie in moments of necessity, but engages in a continuous stream of deception, even when the truth would serve them better. Their dishonesty becomes so habitual that it no longer serves a logical purpose. It's simply a tool for manipulation and control. This behavior often starts small, with harmless lies, but escalates over time. They may lie about their actions, their feelings, or their intentions, distorting the reality of situations to manipulate outcomes. For example, they might fabricate stories to gain sympathy or embellish facts to elevate their status in the eyes of others. The lies are rarely transparent. They are designed to seem plausible, drawing others into a false reality that benefits them. What makes their dishonesty particularly harmful is its consistency. Unlike the occasional lie that might arise from fear or embarrassment, their dishonesty is a repeated strategy for keeping others in the dark, controlling narratives, and evading accountability. When confronted, these individuals often double down on their lies, further complicating the situation with more deceit or by casting doubt on others' perceptions. This type of consistent dishonesty often goes unnoticed, especially in environments where trust is assumed or when the manipulator is skilled at covering their tracks. However, the effects of these lies accumulate over time, eroding the trust in relationships, whether personal or professional. Others may begin to feel confused, questioning their own experiences, memories, and instincts. Over time, this creates a toxic dynamic, where the liar's version of reality becomes the dominant one, leaving the truth buried beneath layers of deception. Number 3. Lack of empathy. A key characteristic of an evil person is a profound lack of empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, to put oneself in another person's shoes. It is essential for healthy, compassionate relationships and interactions. An evil individual, however, lacks this vital quality, either because they choose to disregard the emotions of others, or because they cannot genuinely connect with the human experience of pain and joy. Without empathy, an individual is unable to understand or care about the suffering of others. They may show indifference when someone is in distress, or act callously in situations where others would naturally offer support. For example, when faced with someone else's grief, an empathetic person might offer comfort and understanding, while a person lacking empathy might ignore the suffering, make dismissive remarks, or even take pleasure in it. The lack of empathy is not about apathy, but about purposeful cruelty. An evil individual may intentionally hurt others, knowing full well the emotional impact of their actions. They might exploit someone's vulnerability, manipulate them for personal gain, or provoke emotional reactions for entertainment. They are immune to the feelings of guilt or remorse that would typically accompany such behavior, as their inability to empathize makes it easier to disregard the damage they cause. This lack of empathy often extends beyond the individual's immediate circle. They may show little concern for the broader implications of their actions, whether in social, professional, or global contexts. The harm they cause doesn't register emotionally because they are not invested in the well-being of others, only in their own benefit. In relationships, this lack of empathy can lead to exploitation, emotional abuse, and a deep sense of isolation for those who are on the receiving end of such behavior. Number 4. Exploiting vulnerabilities. One of the most insidious behaviors of an evil individual is their ability to identify and exploit the vulnerabilities of others. They possess an acute awareness of human weaknesses, be it emotional, financial, psychological, or social, and they use this knowledge to manipulate and gain power. Their exploitation often begins subtly, but over time, they know exactly how to press the right buttons to get what they want. Exploiting vulnerabilities starts with observation. The manipulator pays close attention to the people around them, learning about their fears, insecurities, and desires. They may seem charming and caring at first, offering support or comfort, but their true intentions are to gather information that can later be used to control or dominate. For example, if someone reveals a fear of abandonment or rejection, the manipulator may act as though they are deeply invested in the person's well-being, only to later use that fear to create a sense of dependency. They might intentionally create situations where the person feels isolated or emotionally distressed, knowing that this vulnerability will make them more compliant. In financial or professional settings, an evil person may exploit someone's economic hardship by offering seemingly helpful assistance that comes at a high cost, be it through indebtedness, manipulation of resources, or demanding favors. In personal relationships, they may find out someone's weaknesses, such as a lack of confidence or a deep need for validation, and use that information to control the person's decisions and actions. They may offer false praise to make the person feel indebted to them, or they might play on their emotions to secure their loyalty or service. This exploitation is a clear sign of a person who lacks moral integrity, using others' vulnerabilities not for mutual growth or support, but for personal gain. It shows a complete disregard for the dignity and well-being of others, seeing them only as tools to fulfill their own desires. Number 5. Excessive flattery with hidden motives. Excessive flattery is a common tool used by individuals with ill intentions to manipulate others into doing their bidding. On the surface, flattery may appear harmless, perhaps even charming, but when used excessively and without genuine intent, it is often a sign that someone is trying to gain favor or control. Evil individuals know that people naturally desire affirmation and praise, and they exploit this need to create a sense of indebtedness or loyalty. At first, the excessive flattery may feel good. Compliments about one's intelligence, beauty, skills, or abilities may seem sincere, leading the recipient to feel validated and appreciated. However, the manipulator's praise goes beyond simple admiration. It is strategically aimed at lowering your defenses. By inflating your ego or boosting your self-esteem, they make you more susceptible to their influence. They want you to feel as though they see you in an idealized light, so you begin to rely on their approval and seek to please them in return. The manipulator may use flattery to mask their true intentions, making it difficult to discern their ulterior motives. They may shower you with praise to create an emotional bond, making you more likely to trust them or allow them to cross your boundaries. For example, they might compliment your work, only to later ask you for a favor that goes against your values or interests. Because you feel validated, it becomes harder to say no without feeling guilty or ungrateful. The excessive flattery masks a hidden agenda. The manipulator is not offering genuine admiration or appreciation. They are using the praise as a means to control, influence, or exploit you for their own benefit. Recognizing this behavior is key to protecting yourself from being coerced into actions that serve someone else's interests rather than your own. Number 6. Tendency to isolate you. One of the most insidious signs of an evil individual is their subtle yet deliberate efforts to isolate you from your support system, friends, family, and other important connections. Isolation is a powerful tactic because it weakens a person's ability to think independently and makes them more reliant on the manipulator. It is often gradual, starting with small suggestions or criticisms of those around you, and gradually escalating until you find yourself distanced from the people who once provided you with emotional support and guidance. The isolating behavior may seem innocuous. The manipulator may express concerns about the influence of your friends or family, casting doubt on their motives or intentions. For example, they might claim, "Your friends don't understand you like I do," or "They're just jealous of your success." Such comments may initially seem caring, but they're designed to sow seeds of doubt about the reliability and trustworthiness of your closest relationships. As the manipulator's control increases, they will work to create a scenario where you believe that only they truly understand you or have your best interests at heart. They may subtly undermine the support and love you receive from others, positioning themselves as your only confidant or source of guidance. Over time, you begin to see your relationships with others as strained or less important, and the manipulator's influence becomes stronger. The ultimate goal of isolation is to reduce your options and make you feel dependent on the manipulator for emotional validation, advice, or companionship. This creates a power imbalance, where the manipulator can dictate your choices, thoughts, and actions without external interference. As you lose connections with others, your sense of self may weaken, making it easier for the manipulator to control your decisions and emotions. Number 7. Gaslighting. Gaslighting is one of the most destructive tactics used by an evil individual to undermine your sense of reality and manipulate your perception of events. It involves a psychological form of manipulation, where the manipulator distorts facts, denies truths, and deliberately makes you question your own memory, perceptions, or sanity. The term gaslighting comes from a 1938 play, where a husband manipulates his wife into doubting her mental state by slowly dimming the gaslights in their home and then denying that any change has occurred. Gaslighting lies in its ability to make the victim doubt themselves. It's often done through small, seemingly innocuous actions that gradually escalate over time. For example, the gaslighter might deny things they said or did, claiming, "I never said that," or "You're just imagining things." This creates confusion, as the victim begins to question their memory and judgment. Over time, these constant distortions of reality can make the victim feel like they are losing touch with the truth. Gaslighting can also involve the manipulator telling you that you are too sensitive or overreacting when you express discomfort or concern about their behavior. This is a subtle way of making you feel as though your emotional responses are irrational, while they remain unaccountable for their actions. In relationships, gaslighting makes you feel like you're always in the wrong and that your feelings are unjustified, causing you to doubt your instincts and decisions. The purpose of gaslighting is to break down your confidence and control your reality. The manipulator creates an environment where you become dependent on them for validation and guidance, unable to trust your own judgment. As you lose faith in your own perception of events, the gaslighter gains more power and control over your decisions, making it difficult to escape their influence. Number 8. Lack of accountability. A person who consistently refuses to take responsibility for their actions is a clear indication of someone with malicious intent. The lack of accountability is a defining trait of an evil individual, as they are never willing to acknowledge the consequences of their behavior, even when it is clear that their actions have harmed others. Instead of owning up to their mistakes or wrongdoings, they deflect blame, shift responsibility, or manipulate others into shouldering the consequences. These individuals rarely admit when they've done something wrong. Instead, they twist the narrative to portray themselves as the victim or make others feel responsible for their failures. For instance, when a situation goes awry, they may say, "It's not my fault," or "You made me do it," thereby redirecting blame. This tactic not only shifts responsibility but also creates confusion, as the victim is left questioning their own involvement or role in the situation. In relationships or workplaces, a lack of accountability can manifest in constant excuses. They might attribute their failures to external factors like bad luck or someone else's actions, while simultaneously refusing to acknowledge their own role in creating the problem. When confronted with evidence of their behavior, they may downplay the severity of the situation or pretend that the issue isn't as significant as it appears. This is often done to avoid facing the uncomfortable truth or the consequences of their actions. By refusing to accept responsibility, an evil individual manipulates the environment to their advantage, allowing them to avoid facing the repercussions of their behavior. This not only damages relationships, but creates an atmosphere of mistrust, as others are left to pick up the pieces and deal with the fallout of their actions. A lack of accountability allows them to escape scrutiny and maintain their power, while leaving others to deal with the consequences of their misconduct. Number 9. Constant need for control. An evil individual often exhibits a relentless need for control over every situation and person around them. This desire for dominance can manifest in various ways, whether through direct manipulation, emotional blackmail, or even subtle coercion. The core motivation behind this behavior is a deep-seated fear of losing power or being exposed, leading them to exert control over their surroundings to maintain their own sense of security and superiority. This constant need for control might be evident in personal relationships, where they may attempt to dictate the actions, thoughts, or decisions of others. For example, they may insist on making all the decisions, from small daily choices to major life events, forcing others to defer to their will. They might regularly undermine your ability to make independent decisions, either by belittling your judgment or by creating situations where you feel dependent on their approval. In professional environments, the need for control can show up as micromanagement, where the individual insists on overseeing every detail of a project, disregarding the autonomy and expertise of others. Their actions are driven by a compulsion to dominate every aspect of the environment, leaving little room for personal initiative or freedom. This creates a toxic atmosphere where people are either constantly second-guessing themselves or feeling suffocated by the manipulator's presence. Their need for control often leads to emotional manipulation. They may use tactics like guilt-tripping, gaslighting, or intimidation to force others into compliance with their desires. This kind of behavior is designed to reinforce their dominance while destabilizing the confidence and autonomy of those around them. By keeping others in a state of emotional or psychological uncertainty, they maintain their grip on the situation, ensuring that their will is always the driving force. Number 10. Destructive behavior towards others. An evil individual often displays a pattern of destructive behavior aimed at undermining, harming, or destabilizing others. This can manifest in both overt and subtle ways, with the ultimate goal of breaking down the emotional, social, or even physical well-being of their target. Their actions are driven by a desire to see others suffer or falter, often because their own sense of power and control is fueled by the misfortune of those around them. One of the most common forms of destructive behavior is emotional abuse. They might engage in constant belittling, ridicule, or verbal attacks to erode the self-esteem of others. For example, they may mock someone's appearance, intelligence, or accomplishments, subtly or overtly making them feel inferior or worthless. This emotional degradation creates a power imbalance, with the manipulator positioning themselves as the dominant figure, while their victim is left feeling small, insecure, and inadequate. Destructive behavior can escalate to physical harm or sabotage. An individual may deliberately create situations where others are at risk, either physically, financially, or reputationally. They might sabotage a colleague's work, spread malicious rumors, or even incite conflicts between others to watch the chaos unfold. The manipulator finds satisfaction in seeing others struggle or fail, often because it reaffirms their own sense of superiority, or superiority by contrast. Socially, the manipulator may seek to divide people or stir animosity between friends, family, or co-workers. By creating discord, they maintain control over the environment and prevent individuals from forming strong, supportive relationships. Their destructive tendencies not only harm individuals directly, but also poison entire social ecosystems, ensuring that trust and cooperation are replaced by suspicion and fear. This behavior lies a deep-seated disregard for the well-being of others, seeing them not as equals or companions, but as tools or obstacles to be controlled or eliminated. The manipulator thrives on creating chaos and destruction, finding joy in the breakdown of social harmony. Recognizing the signs of an evil individual is crucial for protecting our peace, well-being, and integrity. Lies, manipulation, control, and destructive behavior are just a few of the traits that expose someone's harmful intentions. By staying vigilant and discerning, we can safeguard ourselves from their toxic influence and choose to surround ourselves with those who uplift, support, and encourage us. Stay grounded in your values and remember that wisdom and awareness are your greatest shields. Good luck on your journey to greater awareness and resilience. Thank you for taking the time to reflect on these important insights. Stay strong